Welcome to Mashed Potatoes and Kimchi episode 1. We are so excited to be here. We're going to push through loneliness, loss, and abandonment with honesty, laughter, and probably a hint of sarcasm. So we are so excited for you to join us on this first episode. Today, we are going to interview a dear friend of mine, a kindred soul, so to speak. Anna and I have known each other. We met at church. Mm-hmm. Man, how long ago was that?
Oh, no. How many years?
6, 7, 8
I'd say
years?
7 or 8 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago, we met at church, and she does all sorts of wonderful things.
Yeah,
we're
stuff.
both Korean adoptees, which we just kind of, I remember we started talking one day, and then suddenly everyone else around us had left because we started talking about adoption and serious stuff. They're like, I get that there's something happening here, but I don't think I can contribute at all. And I think, and I think it was you and me and our other friend Jill. We were just kind of like barfing out everything that we could.
I'm adopted too. Here's my story.
Nobody understands me.
Yep.
But she not only is a Korean adoptee, that is not where we find our identity. Right. She is a wonderful person, mother, and wife as well. Yep. She's also a graphic designer.
Yes.
A tattoo apprentice.
Yeah. New journey.
She, I think eventually we're gonna have to get me my first tattoo.
Oh my gosh,
I've always
so fun.
We'll find a camera person and
we'll bring you guys into the shop.
we'll let you know, and you guys can see how much of a wiener I am. That said, she's also been a founder and CEO of a nonprofit,
Yep, it used to be Anchor 13 Studio. Yes. We just rebranded, calling it Remade.
Remade. Oh, I love that name so much.
Me too.
She's just wonderful. She has what I would call a very calming spirit.
Thanks.
A very healing spirit. Her and I have had many great conversations that have been refuge feeling almost, just being able to talk to somebody who gets it.
Yeah.
Who understands. It's like being a parent,
Yes.
When you're not a parent, you see kids and their parents and they're misbehaving. Like, my kid's never doing that. I'll spank them till their generations feel it. And then you become a parent. You're like, no, it's not that easy.
No. It's a lot more challenging as a parent. And I just have the one.
Yeah.
You have two.
I mean, I have two. The first one was actually really great. He just he was so chill. And our second was colicky for 6 months. That was
hard.
Terrible.
That's real rough.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
We are here to interview my dear friend Anna here. And I want to start out as many interviews as I can with the question, what is the most important thing we should keep in mind when we're facing rejection and loneliness?
Yeah. I mean, I think it all boils down to identity and thinking on rejection isn't due to you. It's not because of you. There's no inherent flaw. I think it's easy to think that when you are facing rejection, that it's like has to do with you or there's some connection to your identity with that. And then with loneliness, that's like a journey that has to be felt out, I feel like, in your walk. Just being bold enough to lean into a relationship when you're feeling lonely and not fearing that, I mean, it's easier said than done, but not fearing rejection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to move your microphone just a little bit towards your mouth there. So when you turn and talk to the less attractive person here, we can hear you a little bit better.
Perfect. I know exactly what I'm doing.
I think that's awesome. Identity is such an issue right now.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about, this is how I identify. This is
right.
This is how I want you to identify me. And it's almost turned from a culture of we identify you to, or people demanding that we identify you as a person.
Right.
It's almost done a 180, and people are just demanding that you identify them, or
me,
you identify me
Yeah.
as a whatever.
Yeah.
And
self-identity.
Yeah. And it's gone from like a selfish
Yeah.
to the other side of selfish.
Yeah. There's got to be a in between somewhere, right?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like we're ever going to find that.
Do we find them? I don't know. I'm along for the ride.
Well, I mean, like, so I think that's fantastic. And not that what you do defines you, but it certainly helps identify things in your life. And you've been a graphic designer and artist for a long time. I've seen some great art come out of you. I know that my in-laws commissioned I think it was a painting of a doe.
Yep, a cute, sweet deer doe.
In memorandum of our niece who died as a infant.
Yep.
So as a graphic designer and artist, what do you find most inspiring?
Most inspiring, I mean, for me, another way I wind down is just getting outside. So I hike a lot. And so a lot of inspiration will come visually from what I'm seeing around me in whatever space I am hiking. I like more dramatic scenery. So I'm always trying to find like the bluffs or the cliffs or something that's an overlook over water. I love detail. So my work tends to be more detailed. But yeah, I mean, nature really inspires me. Another inspiration would be just the ability to share a story through imagery. So for me, it's another way, another language for me, another tool to share pieces of my story or pieces of other people's stories if it's a commission. And then also a way to share just kind of my faith through that work. Yeah.
For sure. So like, I think a lot of people have this like fantasy in their head of every artist like suddenly just puts on a painter's cap and whips it out, whips out a paintbrush and starts going to town on a, what do you call those things? An easel, canvas. That's something. The word I'm looking for. Yeah. But you're not necessarily like that.
I wish. I wish I could just whip it out and go to town and paint the most majestic, beautiful thing right away. And its process is crazy.
So, like, what does your process look like then? When you're creating, like, say we're talking about, like, somebody's like, hey, I want a picture of this, and I really am inspired by this. How do you take that and make it something from here to something visual?
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes I can, as someone's talking, I can, like, see the idea. I don't know how to describe it, but I can imagine it, right? And then it is hard to get that thing in the head to the paper. So it starts as really ugly thumbnail sketches. Like they look like stick figure drawings. You would be like, oh, if you're an artist and drawing this, I'm an artist. So they're horrible. But it helps me kind of get the layout and the concept and just kind of what it is, where things go. And then I'll pick through those thumbnails and then take that and then draw a really ugly rough draft. And then I'll clean that up. And then, eventually I trace. So I'll bring over another piece of paper and trace over. And this is if I'm doing what I usually do, which is going to be watercolor and ink. But sometimes I'm asked to do other mediums too.
Do you primarily do watercolors then?
My favorite medium is micron pens. Because they're so
that sounds like nerdier than I get in the tech world.
You can get 02 size, 05, 002. My favorite pen size.
Micron.
Yeah, micron pens. Comic book illustrators use those. For
okay, that makes sense.
The black line.
Now you've officially gone over.
I know your language. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my favorite is the micron pens. But I did learn to love watercolor. I wanted to challenge myself with the watercolors. So, yeah.
I always thought watercolors were just for kids.
No, they're,
Like,
they're hard.
That's the only time I can remember using them anyway. It's like, oh, this is easy.
Rainbows and sunshine and flowers.
Look, it's all blue now.
What color does all the colors make when you mix them together?
Well, you mentioned, like you try to like fit part of what's happening in your life to determine what's happening on the canvas or on the screen or in your work in general. What kind of personal parts that you're willing to share are like have inspired just like some of the strongest work that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it all depends on the viewer, but if I were to have my own favorites, I mean, if you were to look at my work, I'm always drawing or painting anatomical hearts.
I did notice that.
Yeah, I love anatomical hearts. A lot of that goes to just like an over-encompassing narrative of just my heart was so hard because of what I had been through my whole life. I mean, we're talking about adoption. I can bullet point. Yeah. I'm like, what did I go through? Here's a quick list of my trauma, grocery list style. So adoption was not till I was 6 years old. So prior to that, I was in foster homes. I think by age 6, I had moved 14 times. So that's about 2 times a year.
So many.
Yeah. So norm for me was you can't count on anyone. You're moving home to home. You're kind of your own. You can count on yourself. And I had a little brother.
And did he get to be with you?
Yeah,
all the
we
time?
we got to stick together. And I'm very grateful for that. I feel like it would have been a lot harder without him. But yeah, we moved quite a bit, and it was when I was 3 years old that we were separated from our original family. So we weren't young, so to speak.
Old enough to understand what's happening.
Yeah, we had comprehension. I have memories from foster care. I have memories as early as glimpses of just like being in the car with our biological dad. So it was enough to remember. Our mother was Korean. Our father was from here, Minnesota. He was, I was told, Swedish, but we found out after doing DNA stuff there was a lot more on that side.
Hooray for Ancestry DNA, right?
Ancestry.com. No, I think mine is my
We are
heritage.
not sponsored, but we'd like to.
Ooh, please. But yeah, so that, okay. So I was born on an army base in Seoul, Korea. So even though in Korea I was born, I was always a U.S. citizen. And then we were stationed back. I think we went to Texas, and my younger brother was born in barracks in Texas. And then we moved to Minnesota, and then
that's unfortunate.
I know. Here we are.
Super
we
hot, and now
warmth.
It's like we don't know
But
what the weather's going to be.
Wonder why I'm a freeze baby. No. Meant for the desert.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we were here, I was 3. My younger brother was 2. Our biological father ended up being jailed. And I'm comfortable sharing this. It was due to sexual abuse towards me. So he was jailed till I turned 18. And I think my younger brother had to turn 18 too for him to be he was released when I turned 18, but then he couldn't meet my younger brother until my younger brother was 18. Okay. And we did eventually meet him, but and then our mother had abandoned us when we were in Texas. We were at like a daycare, and she just didn't tell anyone. She went back to Korea. So my family had to figure out like,
what do we do now?
We got to get the kids home, and our dad was in the army, so I think my grandma had to fly down and figure that out and try to get us up to Minnesota. So all that to say, I had been through a lot prior to age 6, a lot of instability, a lot of chaos, a lot of rejection from family. I gave up on the concept of family at a very young age. And yeah, what was the bunny, like, why am I on this bunny trail? What was the initial question?
How have the challenges of your life really
in my
shaped your artwork?
Yeah.
The things hearts that you put in front of us, the hearts. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. that's all the stuff that made my heart real hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just even in childhood, post-adoption, the family, you know, when you're adopted, your hope is that that's like the safe place, the home that you're kind of good to go with life, right?
Your forever family.
Your forever family, yeah. So after that, I actually experienced more sexual abuse in my childhood years, and so that just was really hard for me because all I had been through for the hope to have something that was safe, to have that concept shattered, for me was very hard. So naturally, my heart got very hard. Later in life, you know, I was good at school and stuff, but I met my husband. We started dating. We were in high school, and
he has perfect hair.
He has beautiful hair. He tends to it like no other male, but it looks good.
He always looks good. That's for sure.
Yeah, he looks great. But yeah, so it's fun because in a way it's fun, but like now looking back in retrospect, because he can look back at my life and look at it and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, your heart was so hard and you went through all this stuff, and now like it's soft. Like I have that soft, palpable heart. It's not all walled up. And so I'm always drawing hearts or painting hearts because that imagery is just really meaningful to me because, you know, once my heart was so hard, and like, if you had known me before I kind of began my healing journey, it was just like, I was angry, I was walled up, super, I don't know if you can imagine me like this, but just kind of like, feet up on a desk, you know, just real angry, really like, I don't want to be here. No one's going to get to know me. So yeah, lots of hearts. I still love detail. I love controlling my mediums. I've, like I said, tried to challenge myself with watercolors because then it forces you maybe to be okay with things not being in your control, right?
Well, I guess like watercolors are just like when it's there, and if it drips, you're just...
If it does its own thing, you got to be okay with it. Like, and that's like, hard.
What did Bob Ross call those? Happy accidents?
Yes. I would like to have a talk with Bob Ross because I was not so happy.
Oh man. Well, I mean, yeah, that's
a lot.
That is a lot
to
go through, and I'm hoping that as we continue this journey here on the podcast here, we can unpack some more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because of all the things that you've gone through and the journey you've been on, you started doing a fair amount of nonprofit work as well. Correct?
Yeah. Yep. So our logo actually has that heart in it. It's on the left side of the anatomical heart for our logo for Remade. It's got the stony, rocky heart. And on the right side, it's a heart of flesh. There's like life growing out of it, like leaves. And
did you post that on Instagram somewhere?
It's on the it's on the nonprofit account. I just shared it. Yeah. I mean, variations of that imagery have always been pushed out of my creative hands. But yeah, so that nonprofit kind of encompasses my story. So between, you know, the adoption story and to the now, in that big chunk of middle, I was trafficked and exploited. And so part of our work it's anti-trafficking work, but the connection between foster care and trafficking, they call foster care the pipeline to trafficking, because there are so many kids and youth who are vulnerable, who will be exploited by traffickers. But then also a lot of the kids will end up aging out and then having nowhere to go, which also makes them an easy target. Yeah. So we help in that line of work doing advocacy. So I speak, I share my story, partner with other nonprofits. We call them art healing workshops. So we do that with, I've gotten to do it with adoptees, Korean adoptees. Yeah.
I've not done it yet. Maybe I should.
He should.
Maybe we should do that on camera too.
He might cry.
I cry a lot.
I have made a grown man cry at that. I didn't make the workshop. Led him to cry.
My mom's calling me. Hold on. She's not calling me anymore. I just ghosted my mom.
Sad. He's gonna get ghosted.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. So, okay, the art workshops, and then we also do strip club outreach once a month, and then now we're starting to plug ourselves into some sort of prison outreach through the workshops as well. So,
All right. Well,
yeah.
hard stop. Strip club outreach.
Yeah.
That sounds super interesting. What does that look like?
Yeah. So we kind of curate gifts. They don't have to be big and fancy, but it's mostly just a no strings attached form of love, just entering in and encouraging the women with these gifts. There's a direct connect between the commercial sex industry and trafficking. So a lot of traffickers will enter into that space to look for women who are vulnerable and will aim to exploit them for their own personal gain. So we go into that space to encourage them, to love on them in a way that maybe they haven't experienced before. And when they're ready, if they're ready, to help them on a pathway to exiting the industry and hopefully get them on a journey towards healing.
That sounds fantastic. And my mom keeps texting me.
Hi, Mom.
I don't know. That was a like on my something. Oh, probably my Be Real. I'm cool. I'm a cool old man.
The
I
one.
do Be Real.
I've heard
Mostly
you talk
because
about
the
that.
college students at my church decided that I needed to do it. And for some reason, I like it because it's a lot. It's social media that it takes 10 seconds and then you're done.
I remember that. But it's like in the moment. You have to like share what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it takes a picture of one side and
Yeah.
the other at the same time. And so I've got a lot of dorky things on there. A lot of it's me at my computer. Be Real has mostly pointed out that I do very little in life. I'm a very boring man that works all the time.
Still here,
at my
guys.
computer. Still at my computer.
Right here.
This is me working, and in the evening I play video games.
On the computer?
Yeah, on the computer.
There you go.
That one right over there.
Oh.
The only computer in this room somehow that we're not using. But yeah, so that's amazing. Strip club outreach. I never would have thought of that. Of course, I wouldn't even know where to find the nearest strip club.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing, yes. But I, like when you said that, I was just like,
whoa,
where would she even go?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Do we have those here?
Yeah, all over Minneapolis.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
I don't go to Minneapolis very often.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, you've been a freelance artist. You've been a CEO. You're still a CEO, correct?
Yes.
Of Remade now.
Yep.
And then all these things that you're doing, and on top of this, you are taking an apprenticeship at a tattoo parlor.
I am.
Which is super awesome.
Excited. I haven't been this excited about something in so long.
You make art on somebody's body and it's just there forever.
I haven't yet. But soon. Up to my mentor. I don't know when that'll be, but right now.
How long does it go?
I have no clue. I'm just on the ride. So right now, my assignment was to draw my first set of flash, and now I'm simplifying them because if you know me, I overdo things.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I do know that.
Okay, yeah. I'm like,
we've been friends for a while.
So I'm learning how to simplify those, which has proven very challenging for me. And I don't like what I'm looking at, but I understand I need to start somewhere.
So,
like just lines, just little line work.
Okay. So like when somebody gives you something.
Yes.
Like gives a tattoo artist, like, I would like these butterflies on my butt cheeks.
Yes.
Like,
what do I
how do
do?
you make sure you don't screw up? Like, because like
you can't. You can't. Like, what?
Like, can you stencil it out first?
Dude, you have to get creative. So yeah, there's a stencil. You got to print out the. I'm learning this because I just watched the printer of the transfer. So the printer.
Oh, so
transfer. It's like
it's
temporary
like a
tattoo.
Yeah, a temporary tattoo on the butt.
But on the butt.
On
Sam's butt, cheeks.
Butterfly butt.
Butterflies.
I said butt a lot. So it's like transfer.
So it's transferred on. Yep. And then you.
Oh.
I mean, you want to clean the area. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I just assumed that you did everything freehand.
I mean, I've been watching people and you can, and that's incredible. I'd love to get to that point.
That seems real scary.
It's the idea of putting something permanent on a human to me is a little like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. that's a huge level of trust. Like, thank you. That's a big deal. You're giving me a section of your flesh. Like, not like cut and carved out here, but still like
pound of flesh. Here it is.
Wow. So that's scary. And then also knowing like once you lay it in, you don't get an eraser. That's
no, you don't. There's no control Z in this.
No. Can't do that. So
I told my wife that I was gonna have you do my first tattoo, and she goes, "What would you get?" I was like, "I'd probably get something on my wrist with your initials, and I'd write total hottie underneath it."
What'd she say?
She's like, "If you do that, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy that at all."
Yeah.
She said she used some colorful language, which I won't share here, but. Yeah, she wasn't a fan of the idea.
Not a huge fan?
Not a huge fan for some reason.
Maybe you just need to like sketch it out with Sharpie and then show her. I think she'd like it better that way.
Yeah.
She'll like it.
Maybe I could get some of that transfer paper and just I can do something in Photoshop and make it look like it.
Make it look real good.
Yeah.
You could tattoo it yourself if you want.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about your journey as a tattoo artist. That's something you don't necessarily hear people talking about that much. Like I can't remember the name of the tattoo shop, but there's a lady at church who said, I just got this one done at like this tattoo parlor, but they're booked out forever.
Yeah.
And she said, so I got one of the apprentices. And I was a little afraid.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'd be afraid too. It's kind of permanent.
You don't know if it's their first one or second one.
Don't worry, it's my third one.
You don't want him to go, oh, oops.
Have you ever done an entire mural on my back? Well, that's awesome.
I'm excited.
Well, we're kind of coming to the end of my questions, but I want to start asking regular questions of people.
Yeah.
When we interview people. So my first one is, what makes you laugh even when you're down?
Hands down, fail videos or pranks. But not really dumb pranks, just really good pranks on unsuspecting people. That's my favorite.
So, like, you like watching people get hurt?
Maybe.
I love those.
It's not the pain that I enjoy, but it's why do we like that? I don't know. Why do you like that? I don't know.
I just discovered an account on Twitter called Darwin Awards. And it's all people doing real dumb stuff. Like, one guy got out of his car and he didn't put it in park. He must have put it in neutral because it went down the hill and over a cliff.
Good job.
You can tell it was his neighbor because he's like in the other yard, and you can see this guy just get out of his car, walk away, and then the car just goes very slowly over the cliff. And I was like, oh man.
Did it stop?
It did not. It went all the way over. It was from the looks of it was a pretty steep cliff.
It's funny when it's not you.
Yeah, it's hilarious when it's not you. All right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
If I ever hurt myself, you're just going to laugh at me. What is your go-to comfort food? Yeah,
I have a few. Sushi, ice cream, fettuccine Alfredo.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know you're gluten-free.
Gluten-free noodles, man.
Gluten-free noodles.
Yeah. Not the chickpea ones. Those are weird. They get slimy.
Those are weird.
Yeah.
I've had those. And then there was, what was another one I had? Like heart of palm noodles. Have you had those? They're terrible. It's like eating half-cooked carrots.
Yep. I'm like, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to try this.
No.
Garbage.
So what about those things just bring you that kind of comfort? Because I know, like, for me at least, like when I'm eating something that I'm just like, oh, this is my comfort food. So like it brings back memories of something or brings and makes me think of like it not necessarily just one thing, but all these things. Like, you know, I'm eating this and I remember eating this with them. And
so it's communal for you. I mean, it's purely taste buds for me and joy. Like ice cream is pure joy. Like I just want ice cream. Sushi's just so good.
Oh, it is.
But
have you been to Akita?
Yes.
Oh, I love Akita.
The all you can eat. Yeah.
I've not done that. I've only gotten it to go. Well, nobody will go with me.
I'll go with you.
I will happily go with you. My wife is like, sushi. Why would I eat that? Fish.
Heather, if you ever watch this, they have non-sushi items.
Oh yeah, we've been there a couple of times. Their fried rice is very good,
Yes.
and the udon noodles are also delicious.
I have not had those because I don't know if they're gluten free.
I doubt it. Oh, all right. Well, we've covered food, and and these are all work in progress.
Yes.
But my final question for you is, when you are lonely, how do you connect with people?
Yeah. It's easy to isolate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta get those few people you can really count on. So I've got people like, it's not even 5, right? It's like there's 2 people in my life I know that I can hit up, and
the older you get, it seems like the fewer you want.
Dwindle down. Yeah, you only get 1. No, once you reach 40, you
It's
get
a
1.
rule.
I'm not there yet. Is it a rule?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just know I want less of them.
Less of them every year after year, less and less. But yeah, just knowing I can hit them up and you don't have to say a ton, and they're gonna be there, be reliable, and whatever you need. Yeah, got my people.
So you like just going to connect and just being in the same room? I know some people like do that. I enjoy doing that. My wife doesn't get that.
No, I wonder if that's a girl guy thing. I mean, sometimes.
For me, it's an introvert thing, I think.
Okay.
Just
so
like people assume that I'm not. People assume that I'm very extroverted.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I've been in ministry for 20 years, so I know how to talk to people really well. But yeah, I actually am far more introverted than most people think, and I just like being in the presence of people.
Just want to be in the space. I am a very doing person, so I'm like, let's like if I'm in the room with my husband and we're not doing anything but we're together, I'm always like, let's do something. We gotta go. Come on, let's go.
I'm sure he loves that too.
He loves it.
He's pretty introverted.
He is. Yeah. He's like, why can't we just enjoy each other's company?
Please.
But I'm like, no, we gotta go do something. We gotta go. Like, we gotta get out of the house. We gotta go on an adventure.
The camera stopped, so this might not be a video one.
Yeah, and I don't know how to do any of this stuff, so I'm just looking at Sam like, you got this.
I get it. I got it under control. I don't.
He's got it. It's fine.
I've been busy having a conversation with my good friend.
Yes.
But anyway.
So yeah, I'd say do the things with the people. So yeah, getting out, doing an activity, get my mind off of stuff. I don't know. That's usually, I just need to be busy. I need to move my legs and do stuff. I need to like get out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to run though.
You don't want to run?
Yeah, I'll never run.
I don't think running is good for anybody.
It's not.
I feel like I can't remember what the meme was, but I think it was. I can't remember exactly, but it was something to the effect of, I will start running when I see somebody running, smiling.
Have you seen that yet?
Not once.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of like people like going like their mouths are wide and their teeth are showing, but I'm pretty sure that's not smiling.
It's pain. It's pain.
It's pain.
Yeah.
It's pain.
It's not a smile.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
I love having you here with us, with me. And yeah, I look forward to more conversations with you.
I do too. This has been good.
This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
We'll talk soon.